over the clothes. Does not matter. If you want to follow along, there is a cast of roommates, flatmates. I'm going to call them from different names. There's 6 of us in total that live there. When you throw in people's friends and girlfriends, it's a lot. I was single up until this assault happened. My boyfriend stepped in for me and really helped me out at the end, and it worked out on that side, but my boyfriend cannot just erase what happened to me. He only could take me away from it, which is more than enough. There was one girl other than me living there. They introduced her as somebody's girlfriend. She did warn me about how rude people could be in the house. I just didn't think she meant to this certain extent. The attitude of these people can be summed up right here.
I gotta say this, the interpretations are not reality. Even if you think somebody is like giving a hint to something, that's up here. That's not out here.
Okay,
anything that's not said is not real.
This
You were scared about Will, and now you're cool with Will.
I'm sorry, but you did not see it.
Hey,
I do not believe in victim
what
blaming.
I was there for was half the shit
so that I don't.
You gotta let the other people talk to you.
I want to let you talk, but I need a moment because I'm shaking. Please?
Okay, we take a moment out.
I needed a 5-minute break so that I could be collected and talk without
Find a what?
I need to be collected. I kind of asked for that earlier, but...
You were free to do anything you
No,
want.
I wasn't
Yeah,
asking.
go ahead.
I'm not talking about you guys. I was asking...
All you had to do was get up and walk outside.
I didn't hear. Go ahead. No one's gonna
Well,
stop
why
you.
is it coming from you guys? I'm talking to Matt, please.
He's saying you could. They're disagreeing. You can go, and I'm agreeing. I didn't hear you ask earlier. I'm sorry if I missed that.
I just wish I had my best friend. So sad.
But
I'm gonna take a break, okay?
if you feel.
Because I really do need a break so that I can feel
100%.
safe again in
But-
this house, okay? Please,
okay.
I need some water because I haven't drank any water.
Does she want me to give you water? Give me water.
What it was about me being afraid of somebody else in the house, that's a story for another time. You kind of see here he brings up Will as if they have anything to do with each other, because you were afraid of Will and now you're afraid of this guy. Like, it's like as if to like discredit me. Interpretation is not reality. And what you don't see on camera is that in a little bit he's going to tell me that I take psychiatric meds and therefore my point of view is invalid. He didn't know that 66% of America is actually on psychiatric meds. Giving somebody else's medication information to a whole like table of people is the mentality behind that I will never understand. I believe that he believes that nothing happened to me. Like, I can tell that he's so sold on the fact that I'm making it up. But here's the thing is that I just wasn't. And that's like, it's not his fault that I wasn't making it up, but it is his fault that he kept like trying to get me to like give in. Like, you can't, if you're like, you're making it up, I'm gonna go, okay, fine, I'm making it up. Like, no, like that's not how it happens. You can't just like push somebody to tell you that it's fake. That's actually a very low blow, and you can tell he was grasping onto something to like make me feel inferior. He's speaking as if he is like representing the house here. If I called the police, other people's feelings would be hurt. I was suggested to not call the police. At least 2 roommates and my landlord suggested. I decided these people were a little bit more worth it than that. The reason? Because landlord reported my perpetrator was scared of a lawsuit as that bitch, which I became to them. So when you know you become that bitch, you walk into a room, now all eyes are on me. What am I gonna do with this? Am I going to ask for help? Somebody was going to continue to bug me, whether it be physical or not. And people fucking like this guy. So who gives a damn about what the girl said? She's only been here for like 3 months. When I got out of that situation, I unpacked it, and that's why it's been so long. I needed a year to unwind, you know, and become myself again. Cannot invalidate me by saying your experience with him was good. The perpetrator in my life is the same guy that you know and probably love. I'm sorry. And it happens a lot. But I didn't think that moving in with a friend of mine, meeting a bunch of people, but the one so close to me, I had no clue I didn't know who he was. I didn't think it was that important. And I thought I could just shut it out, and I was wrong. And I wanted to actually be friends. I mean, shit, maybe we were friends. I don't know. I just, at the end of the day, you don't know. Somebody's willing to compromise that just to, you know, go to his room with you and go ahead, cast the stone. When certain acts were happening, I put them in a box. I stored them away. I did not open it. It didn't make sense to me at the time why I was upset when certain people were in the room. Later on, it made more sense. A part of my innocence is gone. So that's what I was referring to. I'll never get that back. Survivors of a sexual assault have one thing in common. They don't trust anybody. Sometimes not even themselves. Sexual assault is not about sex. Power and manipulation. Like every crime, something is taken. I'm aware that people who are the problem can also be victims themselves. People can be against sexual assault and still have it under their radar.
Restraint? What is that? Real men don't wait until the appropriate time.
He was just like super loungy, just like laxed out, you know, just like a little bit more than I was. He kind of just like, oh, everyone knows there's a card called the Fool, right? I sang The Fool on the Hill, like, stop being so hot. When your guy friends say stuff like that, girl, it's just really strange. What somebody might not remember that they said, or maybe they just said it without thinking, or maybe I'm just trying to rationalize it. I don't call my guy friends hot, though. I don't do that. I just felt super disposable. That's the only word that comes to mind. Anyways, beer 2. I'm still on my first one. I'm still in the same position on the bed. I hadn't lounged back as he had. It took me a little bit longer to loosen up, you know. I guess that's what the beers are for, ladies. You know, we got on this topic of secrets. What's your secret? Oh, never mind. You know, I'm just the kind of person that keeps it to myself. What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Do you like someone? You like someone! Fuck. He didn't leave it alone. He kept going over a list. Everyone we knew mutually, even went over his goddamn girlfriends. He knew I was bisexual, so yeah, he went through everyone. Everyone, including himself, girls. That didn't last long. I'm just that kind of person. I told him that other people are gonna get hurt. What? And I was like, yeah, dude, people are gonna get hurt. Are you sure you're not gonna hurt somebody? Like, who? I was single. I think that's what made it click in my head that there was something wrong. Either he was just trying to have sex with me and just trying to pretend, or he literally had something going on up here that just total denial. I don't know what that was. Hurting other people with these seemingly small decisions we were about to make. I told him, this is going to disrupt the flow. You should probably tell your girlfriend. Who's gonna tell her? You're not gonna tell her. A couple days later, and he realized that I was right when I told him that he didn't want to go there and that his life would be affected and he would be hurting others. I guess shit started to catch up with him. Who knew? He started to act out a little on me. I was fucked. I had a chair in my room to keep my door locked for about a week once things got weird, and everyone else's locked worked and mine didn't. And by that point, I didn't threaten to tell her. He put it inside of my head. But had he not told me that, I wasn't gonna go there. I was just saying that it's the most responsible and respectful thing to mention it up front. He could still save his relationship. I was thinking of it in a nice bubble that he popped. He asked me to come to his room and sleep with him, and I said no. He got up and he was like, I just wanted to hold you, by the way. He starts walking away as if that made it any better, as if I didn't know that his hands would be all over my body in a sec. And I got him to the doorway and he wanted to kiss me, and I said no. You have this clear vision in your head of a girl planting her feet, looking at you. No. In her doorway, tipsy, drunk. Yeah, I was trying to get him out, and I was just like, yeah, go to your room. Before he had been going to his room, he would peek his head, look if anyone was around, because he didn't want people to see him leaving my room. Eventually, his paranoid behavior was projected onto me. And that's when he tried to touch my chin again. There was a time the seam of my shirt was raised a little, and he brings his hand over to my waist and touches like my stretch marks with his bare hands so I could feel it on my skin. I just pushed his hands off of me, and he was just like, sorry. He did make a joke about, I think I tried to kiss you about like 3 times. So he acknowledges that he was mean to me because he liked me, and that's kind of sick. He also said, I think everyone in the house pretty much knows that I've been being mean to you because I have a crush on you. In the note as well, he acknowledges it. At the end of the day, he was gonna go talk to his GF, and I go call somebody up that I have a crush on, and I tell them what happened. I go back inside and I text Will, and he asks if he could come in again. Now I feel like he just wanted another chance to get into bed with me. He asked to hold my hand again, and I said no. And he asked if he could hug me, and I said no. I told him to go to bed and then tell his girlfriend that he had baby making fever. I didn't ask you to touch yourself on my bed. Over the clothes. Does not matter. Thing like this. Later on, he was near the door trying to leave my room. He tried to kiss me about 3 times that night, so I would have to go so that he wouldn't. And I deflected, made sure it didn't happen again, and he was like, he smiled. Oh, you don't like that? And I don't know what kind of normal person sees that a woman doesn't want the touch and goes, she doesn't like that very much. Well, that's not reality. We're going to focus on physical consent. Here. If you're a woman and a guy touches you there, it's special. I also wanted to go through something else that's kind of more hard for me to talk about without humor. I had a toy with me. I had used it several times before, no problem. It's a toy that does not have a volume button, and one day I came home from work and I started using that toy, and my roommate perpetrator shouted at me, actually kind of screamed, "Shut the fuck up," through the wall. And it was kind of weird because I felt, first of all, why do you care? And then I thought about it and, oh, okay, your girlfriend, wifey is home, so you don't want her to, hear that? I'm sorry, I live here, and I'm an adult, and you've never complained before, so maybe complain the first time, so when you just have company, it's not gonna happen. I wasn't using my vocals. I wasn't going crazy at it. Like, you know, I've heard other things coming from his room. All he wanted to do is show his girlfriend that he cared about some other girl masturbating. To give you an understanding, this is how our doors looked. That's my door open, that's his door. Don't watch me while I sleep. I chose to not sleep in your room. So when I sleep downstairs, I didn't choose to have you there watching me. The landlord agreed with them that it was suspicious and strange for me to sleep on the couch. And if they saw somebody and didn't know who it was, it's okay for them to, like, get all up in their space. I think that's not how normal people live anyways. The back of the couch leans on the railing. I thought you were Max. I don't think I look that much like Max. Why do you get all hot and bothered when I play explicit music and you have to turn your music up? He hadn't played music all day. So what does that tell you? He cares about what I'm listening to. I'm a girl. We hand wash our things. Our moms teach us how. So why the fuck would I wash a towel that has glass in it in the laundry room without rinsing out the glass? I wouldn't even do that to myself. They did not ask me why there was glass in the washer machine. They just went straight to the landlord. We're sitting, conversing, playing a game. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, "I masturbate quiet, don't I, Joey?" Everyone ignored it. Everyone ignored it.
People like this think you can do whatever and say whatever in the name of comedy, and it's just fine. As a bit, though, like, it's a bit, remember? Like, this is all high level comedy, dude.
I can tell you that he wasn't joking. He wanted me to know about him masturbating. He wanted me to picture it because it happened and he was quite loud. And 2 days later, he makes this joke. It's not a joke. I had somebody ask me, so whose fault is it? I cannot answer questions like that. This is way too tactile. If you have questions like that, we cannot do it over Messenger for all places. I need a phone call. We can go out to lunch, whatever. This is not your emergency. You can wait. You best bet there was a bunch of people that weren't thinking about my safety. The peanut gallery. I should have made a video while the memories were still fresh. Unfortunately, these memories are still fresh and they are not going away. Once somebody becomes a perpetrator, once they come near you, you're not going to flinch. I'm not the, that type. It's ridiculous if somebody assumes that I'm going to be that outwardly afraid. Everybody is always going to have an opinion on how you handle the fear. Whether you lash out, whether you keep it in, or whether you flinch, you're going to have critiques. You cannot keep that bottled up for that long per people's requests. People use humor to mask their emotions a lot. In this case, a little bit more extreme. There's something to be said about behaviors that are done over a period of time repetitively and persistently. It's a body of work, but I'm the joke. One singular joke, maybe. One accident, maybe. It's just humor, you shouldn't get mad, but the same way a joke has a context, the context of your jokes also matter. I have a bunch of siblings, but I'm all about busting people's balls. You don't reassure somebody that you're chill with them and then throw all these fucking jokes at them. What is your thought process behind your humor during this time? You have to see the nuance of a joke. You have to see the nuance of everyone behind those as well. The question is going to arise what you actually are trying to say once you keep doing this. That's low-hanging fruit. Because if you wanted to make everyone laugh, you wouldn't go for the cheap jokes. You would go for something fucking clever. Please, make me laugh. He would pick on me a lot. Casually, while I was washing my clothes because our washer was broken, washing and wringing my clothes for work. He told me that I reminded him of his mother. And later on, he mentioned this the night it all happened. His mom was a Gemini, and so was I and his girlfriend, and I guess he has a thing for Geminis. That's the whole reason, I guess. I'm just kidding. But no, I'm not kidding. He actually did say that about Geminis. I mean, I understand Gemini energy. That has nothing to do with making bad choices. Or like that time he screamed outside of my door with a different roomie about how my window was open and it was fucking with the AC all day long, although he hadn't been there all day long. So I had just opened my window. He said, "That fucking girl, she's breaking the air conditioning." And then later on, that was the same day, on Halloween, he did look at my outfit. I was wearing such a cute costume when I was getting ready in the morning. He looked at my chest and paused, and then he went back into his room, and I heard him cursing at himself. Sounded like he wasn't supposed to look at me.
Loving boobies while simultaneously hating the woman they're attached to? Guy stuff.
And that's the same day he yelled at me later on for keeping my window open for 30 minutes. But he proclaimed I had had it open all day. He just got home and saw my window open. But you're looking in my window? How often do you do that? How did you realize my window was open? I barely opened it. While I was in that house, I was not able to let the box out. Getting the proper education I need about what has been done to me. I mean, the guy that I replaced in my room, he ended up being booted out. He had an addiction that affected his behavior a lot. Considering everything that's happened to me, it almost makes you feel bad for the crackhead that they talk about. I even cleansed my room with sage. I just felt like it was being projected onto me. When I arrived, they were going through his shit and trying to see what they like and what they don't like. I mean, somebody was talking about a keyboard. The guy ended up wanting his stuff back. There was never drama before me, not mentioning how these people treat each other. That should have been solved before I came in. Some of these flatmates don't understand that they are part of a bigger problem. I left not only because I didn't like the way they were acting, but I didn't like the way I was acting either. He just had like an open bottle. Hold on. He was in the hallway with us. Was just like, "Anyone want some?" Everyone was like, "Nah, dude, we're good." He was looking at me. "You have such a small head." And then he just, I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna have my face touched again. There was one guy in particular in the hallway I think he looked at me like, what? Why did he just touch her? He started calling me small face while a guy was just like slinging a bottle of Jose Cuervos. But I started acting out. Some people didn't ask me why and they just made their own assumptions. It was a cry for help. Will just got mad at a video game and smashed a monitor. I get pissed off at video games and I take a sec. It was hard to hear the shot. Somebody else was with me. Like, I couldn't stare at anything else but the floor. I got home and she was parked right next to me. His girl. It looked like he had just gotten done having a conversation with her. And I just gave him like a head nod. Can I leave my car? Like, what's going on? Like, you good? The only way I could describe it, his face was distorted. If you don't want to look weird, don't do fucking weird shit like behind your girlfriend when she turns around. I stayed in my car because I was worried that maybe he would do something. I was actually pretty decent about it. He left the back door open. I went up to him. Maybe I could just ask. The timing that I'm coming home is kind of strange. He retorted. What? No, it's not. Kind of like a Squidward kind of reaction. Well, you told her? He retorted. I became an obstacle for him. We were in the kitchen and there was nobody there. He just starts looking through his cabinet. It's not me, it's also you, who has done something that you regret. He retorted, do not start. He retorted, not this, not now. I think I just started to cry and I went to the porch. Eventually he came out and put his hands on his hips and like planted his feet. He spat out. Why are you making a spectacle? I was confused because there was nobody in the kitchen and I made sure of it. So I'm like, this guy must be nuts. This guy is crazy. Blocked him and I gave him his little note back. I wrote, it's not that deep, on the back because that's something he had said to me. Like I said, I had to drag a chair into my room to lock it. I called one of the girls that lived there and I asked her if I could sit in her room before she got home, it felt so weird to be in her room without her, but I just felt safer. Didn't really know if the landlord would give a shit, but he kind of was like, can't do much for you, Joey. Now I know I'm that girl. Later on, he broke our back gate. I assumed somebody might have been breaking in. The screws were out, forcefully shutting it so hard that who came in late last night and it was him. Do I call the police or do I go to my shift because I'm gonna be fired? But later on, he acted somewhat guilty about it and nobody asked questions in the morning.